And welcome to delayed coverage of yesterday's match between Burnley and Watford. This commentary, I should explain, is pre-recorded commentary. There'll be a bit of a I just want to make everyone aware this is to do with yesterday's and not today's sad event that Jimmy McIlroy has died, and we're going to do a full tribute on a special tribute during our live programme tonight, which is going to come from Selhurst Park between Crystal Palace and Liverpool, with myself and Russ Vernon in the commentary box. We're going to discuss Jimmy McIlroy's life and career in full, as well as a little tribute to the great man himself. In fact, we'll do a little tribute on this video as well, because this is to do with Burnley. This was probably the last game you'll would have heard about the Clarets. So this commentary is a little bit of a tribute to Jimmy McIlroy, who sadly passed away this afternoon at the age of 86. Anyway, back to yesterday. Burnley's first home match. They'd beaten Olympiacos 1-0, you may remember, on the Thursday after extra time, but there was plenty of changes. But let's go back to about 25 past 1 yesterday. The team's coming out of the tunnel to rapturous applause for the first match of the season. And we're going to hear about the whole 90 minutes now. Full match commentary from yesterday's game between Watford and the Clarets. The teams here at Turf Moor this afternoon getting a nice round of applause. Right, let's go through the teams to the first match of the season with the Clarets. It's Joe Hart in goal, a back four of Lawton, Tarkowski, Meehan Ward, Gunmanson, Cork, Henrik, Westwood and Lennon, the five-pronged midfield, with Chris Wood up front in attack. On the bench, Heaton, Taylor, Vokes, Barnes, Gibson, Bardsley and Long all make up the 18 for the Clarets this afternoon. As the teams break away into this fantastic it's a fantastic gesture when they shake hands. Let's have a look at that Watford side then. Ben Foster, former Watford player, returns in goal. It's Yamat, Cathcart, Cazabel, Kebaselli and Holebas across the back four. Hughes, Dacore, Capu and Pereira the midfield four, with Gray and Deeney, Andre Gray being a former Burnley striker, Gomez, Prudel, Mariappa, Firmina, Mazina, Zima and Isaac Success are all amongst the substitutes. Andre Gray back on his old stomping ground, scored very much his most prolific time of his career. Hasn't really hit it off at Watford since his £18 million move from Turf Moor to Vicarage Road, but he's more than happy to try and make up for that this afternoon if he can. Scored 23 goals when Burnley got promoted back to the top flight some 2 years ago. The Clarets get this home campaign underway, and then Claret and Blue attacking the goal to our right. Watford in a yellow and black, stripes on the front, and then just an all yellow back on the sleeves as Ben Mee now comes charging forward, gets the ball away and hooks it out for a throw in on halfway. Referee today is Paul Tierney. Well, Watford will be wanting to get off to a fantastic start. There's no doubt about that. Wants Yamat to take the throw in. Yamat throws it, looking for Deeney. Deeney, good control there. And it gets towards number 37, Pereira, who scored 2 cracking goals last week, and then the ball threaded in, and Westwood having to get it way up on his own halfway line. And already Watford piling under pressure for the Clarets in the early stages of the game. Really will be interesting to see what does come about this today, whether the Clarets can really come in again. They certainly overachieved last season, no doubt about that. As the Clarets now on the defensive again, and Gray's in behind, and a good block there by Tarkowski. And Pereira closing in again. Pereira keeping the ball in on the near side. This is a good start from the visitors. Ball lifted in again towards Deeney this time. 4 for no time list of Watford's top scorers, and the ball out towards halfway. We played a minute and a half of the first half, 0-0. Gracia is the coach of Watford. And his team will be, well, Grazia will be, the Watford coach will be happy with the way his team have started as Joe Hart has possession here. 2 minutes gone here at Turf Moor. Opening game of the season. It has been raining quite a lot here in Lancashire this morning, so the ground will be a lot more zippier. And the pitch looks in absolutely perfect condition. As I said, 50% synthetic, 50% grass. Makes for a nice little cocktail of a good pitch here as Watford get the ball down the right hand side again. Ben Mead jumping. Legally, says the referee, although he did have his arms all over one or two over Deeney. Just purely for leverage more than anything else. Deeney starts again. Plays a 1-2 with Gray. And Deeney gets the ball back again. Gray making a good burst into the middle. So too was Pereira. And Gray has hit it on the volley from about 7 or 8 yards out. And has hit it past Joe Hart. And it was past the Burnley keeper in a flash. It's a great start for Grazia's side. And Watford in front after nearly 3 minutes. Not the start the Clarets were hoping for. 3 minutes on the clock. There a goal down, and Andre Gray, the former Burnley striker, control volley from about 10 yards out on his right foot. Played a little bit 1-2, I have to say, with Deeney down that right hand side. Good cross there, and what a good control volley. As soon as the goalkeeper got there, he couldn't get anywhere near it. Fantastic cross. And there's the finish from Troy Deeney into the back of the net. Burnley 0, Watford 1. Troy Deeney with the assistant. Andre Gray with a deadly finish. 1-0. Wow, what a first half this has turned out to be. Here's Lowton now, right hand side, crossing into the penalty area, headed away. Up and over there by Cathcart. Goodmanson takes the ball here on the left. Gets it out to that left touchline. Plays a 1-2 with Ward. Ward gets the ball back. And they play a couple of 1-2s there. And Burnley force the first quarter of the game after 4 minutes. 1-0 down, believe it or not, here. Clarets match delayed. I won't be reading any comments because it's a delayed match. Only when they're live, and this one certainly isn't. Here's the corner in from the penalty area towards Ben Mee, who went helpful ever to try and kick the ball, but ended up almost flat in his face. And Watford see the danger out in the ball. In fact, he's ushered to Joe Hart, who kicks away right-footed, way over the halfway line. Headed up in the air by Casabelli. And Ward lets it go for a Burnley throw. 10 yards inside the Watford half on the left-hand side, and the throw's taken quickly. And Henrik Backlund with his former Derby County teammate Will Hughes. They used to play midfield together for Derby when they had a very good side, if you remember, under Steve McLaren. And Hughes gets the 1-2 back again. Good football this time, but no foul on Hughes. Free kick not given. And here's Goodmanson now on the left-hand side. Plays the ball in, but it's well cut out by Cathcart. Now Cork to win the next ball. Still on halfway. Here's Tarkowski. Good ball out to Lawton. And Lawton, presence of mind to put the cross in. And that was a dangerous cross towards Chris Wood. And hooked away for a Burnley corner by, I think it might have been Cathcart. Good football this from the Clarets. Lovely cross here from the right by Matt Lawton. Right foot. Real venomous curl on it. And it caused Cathcart 1 or 2 problems there. Well, we've had nearly 6 minutes of the first half. Can Burnley get themselves the equaliser? Here's Goodmanson to take the corner into the 6-yard box. Tarkowski's header inside the 6-yard box. And Burnley have equalised. And it's his first ever goal for Burnley. James Tarkowski. And Burnley needed that. Good reaction from going to go down from the Clarets. Really was. Good corner from Goodmanson. The Watford defence were very static. And Tarkowski came up between two to not into the net. Foster no chance. And Burnley back on terms. Good header. Bullet from 6 yards out. And that's a real centre-back's finish. And amazingly, believe it or not, it's his first ever goal for Burnley. The last goal he got was in a 2-2 draw played for Brentford a few years ago in the Championship. Well, First goal since 2015, that. And he's first in Burnley colours. James Tarkowski. A moment to savour for him. No doubt about that. So into the 7th minute. We've just had 7 minutes of the first half, and we have a real game on here, folks. One each. Tarkowski to win the next ball, and then the ball hooked out of play. And behind for a throw-in. Just remind you, after you've heard all the action, all the commentary from today's game, we'll get reaction from the main protagonist, Sean Dyche, of course. Former Watford manager, of course, before he was unceremoniously, cruelly booted out by the Pozzos 6 years ago when they took control of the football club. Here's Olibas with a throw. No one's level with the Burnley area, looking towards Gray that time, and it's out for another throw-in, again to Watford, and again Olibas to take it. And this time on the left-hand side, still on the left-hand side, this time almost in line with the edge of the 6-yard line. And Olibas now will run up, take a 5-yard run up the slope, and into the area she goes from Olibas. Flicked on again towards the area and hooked away by Jeff Henrik from the edge of his own D, looking for Wood. Goes up with Cathcart. Cathcart winning that ball on halfway, and the long ball forward, and Lennon will test his pace there, and the ball back to Ben Foster just outside the penalty area to the right hand side, and he got the ball away, and then there was a flag up, I think, for offside. Grazia will be disappointed about the concession of a goal so soon after actually scoring, but Burnley have deserved that. They come back really well. Well, Watford didn't do very well on the travels. I think they had 4 wins over the whole period last year. The last couple of years they tended to start really well. They had a good win over Brighton last week, a terrific. Pereira got both goals. The pick was actually a terrific volley from outside the penalty area, which gave Watford the lead in that game. And of course Burnley have drawn Olympiacos in the Europa League. Hopefully that will be a game with a bit of luck we'll be able to give you or bring you on Thursday night for you from Greece. Clarets match live. Hopefully we'll have the return leg as well at Turf Moor a week on Thursday as well. As Burnley aim to go into the group phase of the Europa League and join the other English representatives, I should say, Chelsea and Arsenal, in that particular competition. Here's Ben Mee to hook it forward towards Westwood. Westwood flicking it onto Wood, and Wood made a little bit of a bad attempt there getting on the ball. I think he needs, and the ball's gone out for a throw-in, incidentally. 10 minutes gone, 1-1. Wood really needs to make his mark this season. He hasn't really been up to the pace, in my opinion. I know he scored against Aberdeen in that Battle of Britain showdown earlier this month, but apart from that, he hasn't really offered much else. He was a bit static in the first leg, I remember, up at Pittodrie. But he really needs to hit the ground running. A first league goal came a little bit closer last week. I thought Burnley were superb actually last week without penetrating that Southampton defence a week ago. They were really positive in the way they played, and they're looking a little bit more positive about things here after 10 minutes. I mean, they were 1-0 down, and defensively they were it's not like Burnley to be caught out defensively. Here's Lowton now down the right. Lennon offers the support on the overlap. Now Lennon will run at the defender here. Gets the crossing towards the penalty area, the back post in fact, and headed away. I think again by Cathcart. Ward now to knock the ball in. Lennon's calling for it on the edge of the area. Ward in fact, Lennon gets it out on the right, I should say. And then Lowton with the cross in. Again, causing Foster some problems. He had to fist it out, but Ward has knocked it straight back in, whilst the goalkeeper was off limits. And then the header behind for a corner kick to the Clarets. Ben Foster not looking too comfortable in that goal. And Olibas is having a tough time already against the likes of Lowton and Lennon. 11.5 minutes of the first half gone at Turf Moor. Burnley 1, Watford 1 is the scoreline. And they're using that queue-up system like England did in the World Cup, but the Goodmanson corner wasn't the best. It comes out again to Court this time, midway inside the Watford half, over on the left-hand side, and the cross looking towards me on the near side of the edge of the area. Can't get there, and Watford see that danger pass. Well, we'll see today whether this will be a true test of Burnley's capabilities. This is 4 games in sort of like 10 days for the Clarets. The 2 games against Istanbul, Southampton game sandwiched in between those 2 legs, and then obviously this one today will give us a good indication how Burnley will cope after the European break. But it also should be said, at least 40, maybe 50% of the starting lineup for the Clarets today did not really feature until the latter stages, well, 2 or 3 of them until the latter stages of extra time on Thursday night. So it'll be interesting to see how fatigue comes into it. They've got a tough long trip to Greece on Wednesday. They've got to go there on Wednesday night, prepare for the match that takes place the next night, and then come back again and prepare for a match again away at Fulham on the Sunday. A week on Sunday the game kicks off with about, I think it's a 4:30 kick-off, I believe, at Craven Cottage. We still have a little bit, an extra couple of hours to prepare for it. This game kicking off at 1:30, 1:30 this afternoon. We've had 13 minutes, so we're coming up towards 1:45 in the afternoon. This wet and windy Sunday, and the flags at half-mast as well. But at the moment, 0-0. Burnley being held here. They did trail to a goal from Gray, former Claret, after 3 minutes, but after 7 minutes, Tarkowski from a corner, making it 1-1. Here's Olivas, edge of his own area, almost playing chicken there as he gets that ball forward, right-footed. That's an offside against Andre Gray, about 5 yards inside the Burnley half. And he said inside his own half. He couldn't have been offside if that was the case. Here's Lowton again, good cross, and Foster again. Not on sure, but he got the ball at the second attempt. Finds Will Hughes with the pass now, and he cuts infield from the right. Now the ball threaded out towards the near side, and it's Olivas. Infield this time to number 29, Capu. And Capu hits a good ball from left to right. And now it's deep inside the penalty area, and it's Deeney with a crossing. Gray waits in the centre. Tarkowski wasn't sure, and then Lowton put his foot... Well, put his foot high, and he certainly hit it high, but not far enough. And here's Hughes now. Pulled back. I thought he could have taken the shot on Pereira. Was waiting by the penalty spot as Hughes crossed in from the right. Although everyone was expecting a right-footed shot from Hughes. But not to be. 1-1 here, coming up towards a quarter of an hour of the first half. Little flick round the corner. Tarkowski gets the ball away for the Clarets. Up towards Wood. He can't control it. And now Cork there appeals for handball, not given. Mr. Tierney was 10 yards away from the incident and decided not to give the decision, despite quite a great appeals from the crowd and Jack Cork himself, as Westwood touches it on to Ben Mee. Evelyn Stevens here at Turf Moor. 1-1, quarter of an hour of the first half gone. And thankfully this is going to be 90 minutes, no more. I think our nerves could stand another 30 minutes of this. It's a good job it's a league game. Here's Cork now and halfway on just to the right of the centre circle, and he plays it back into his own half, where Ben Mee on the left hand side of that half plays the ball forward. And that's a foul there, just 5-10 yards inside, and that's Etienne Capu with an awful challenge there from behind, and that's going to be a free kick. Took out Gudmundsson there. Another day you might have seen yellow for that. At the moment it's a free kick to Burnley. Trailed, but now a level. 16 minutes gone. As Gudmundsson plays that ball in towards the far near side, and it's out for a throw-in. Almost above the penalty area of Watford. And it was Salibas who got it out. Wanted to take the throw-in. And here's Lowton taking the throw. Right hand side, almost over the Watford penalty area. Edge of that penalty area, that is. And Lenrick nearly did well. He got round the back then. Watford snuffed the danger out for a moment, and then Gudmundsson has been brought down again, or has been tripped by Hughes, and Hughes is a feisty tackler. There's no doubt about that. Let's have a look at it again. Well, that was late. We should be at least booked for that, Will Hughes. No card, but a free kick going against a former Derby County man. Gunnarsson with a free kick. A very good position this for Burnley, about 25 yards out to the left of centre of the D. 4 men being erected in the wall by Ben Foster, the former England goalkeeper. We've got 2 former goalkeepers, England goalkeepers on the show. We've got Foster at one end and Joe Hart at the left hand side. As Westwood, Robert Gunnarsson shoots left foot and a good free kick and a good sprawling save at the left post by Ben Foster. Still the danger not over yet. Corked and hooked the ball in from the left, but headed away, and Holebas could have argued he could have left that, and it's given Lennon a chance here for Burnley. And that's surely got to be a corner. Oh, he's given a goal kick. Well, I've got to tell you, the fans are going absolutely apes towards the referee because, and I think every commentator and every journalist would have seen this decision, and I honestly think that's a corner. We've just seen a replay of the free kick. It's a good sprawling save by Ben Foster. This really has to be a corner off the defender here, surely. Well, it comes off Casbelli, and that should be a corner. How on earth can... It's Mick McDonough, the assistant on the near side, that's well, has made himself probably unpopular with nearly 20,000 Burnley fans. Here's Ward to hook the ball long and forward, looking for Henrik on 10 yards inside the Watford half. 18.5 minutes, well past now. Burnley have another free kick, or do they? Well, I thought for a moment Tierney, the referee, was going to blow up there. Well, 1 or 2 of his decisions have been a little bit questionable, suspect to start with, but Burnley have been the better side since equalising. Watford have tried to rest on the laurels far too early, and they've ended up paying the price as Foster kicks left-footed. As we come up towards 20 minutes, a minute shy of 20 minutes gone here at the turf. 1-1 here between Burnley and Watford. The Clarets the Clarets game delayed. I've got to get used to saying the Clarets game, not the Clarets match. That's our old title. Just to remind you, the 2 benches: Heaton, Taylor, Vokes, Barnes, Gibson, Bardsley and Long. Watford's bench: Gomez, Prudell, Mariappa, Romina, Massima, Sima and Isaac Success, the big striker, number 10. Here's Olibas now on the left hand side up against Lennon and Lowton, the 2 right-sided players in the Clarets team. A long ball forward, and that's straight to Joe Hart, deep inside the Burnley penalty area. Takes that comfortably, no problems. Where's a nice little smile there. It's the first goal, incidentally, Hart has conceded since taking the number 1 shirt for Burnley, although he would wear number 20 on the back of his shirts. But he's in possession of the clubs at the moment, with Tom Heaton breathing down his neck as Henry gets the cross in, and that's just behind, I think, for a goal kick to Watford. Is it? No, it's still in play. I thought Mr. Tierney was going to give a goal kick. I'm looking hard at the referee for a good 4 or 5 seconds, and I spotted nothing, and the ball must have stayed in play. Well, it's gone out of play now because Hughes has tackled his man, and it's a throw into Burnley about 3 yards from the far quadrant on the left hand side, attacking the goal to our right. So Burnley in a very prime position. It's level on the left hand side with the edge of the Watford 6-yard box, so it's a little further out than I initially thought. He's taking it to Westwood. Westwood gets it back to Gunnarsson. Gunnarsson now turning. Good football again. Now Cork offers a little bit of support. Now, who was probably found wanting now on the first goal, didn't really pick up the run of Gray as he should have done. This is Deeney, the captain, battling hard through the centre of that, and then just out to the right hand side where Will Hughes is waiting. He's standing on the right hand side, incidentally, the former Derby man. He's predominantly a central midfield player. As Hughes turns, and then Westwood gets the ball back to Joe Hart as we come up towards the halfway point to the first half, and it's Burnley 1, Watford 1. And Hart kicks away. And it was a bit of a long journey back up from the Arsenal match last night. Well, you heard on the Saturday game, really, that was probably a real classic that we saw there at Chelsea yesterday, as Joe Hart gets the ball away now for Burnley. 22 minutes gone. Out for a throw to Watford, is it? Or is it a foul there by Chris Wood? It looks like a foul, in fact, by Chris Wood. Well, he's a judge to have, but anyway, fouled his man. And it has been a frustrating first half in terms of opportunities. Burnley level, of course. And then Gray put in, obviously, Burnley 1-0 behind as the ball comes to Joe Hart once again. Be just intrigued to know really, and certainly Burnley again have had a lot of the play, but yet don't even find themselves in the lead, and that's a real concern there. I say concern because I say concern there. I think it's in last week. So there we go. So here's Cork now to win the next ball. Cork on again. Cork wins it again, and he's running to the area. Oh, it looked as if he was barged down there, but the referee said no, and I don't think there was any great appeals from Jack Cork himself, actually, in all fairness to him. Burnley, however, do get a free kick. Fouled by Andre Gray. I was just drifted out a little bit drifted in and out the game since the goal. Now let's have a look whether that was a penalty. Well, Capoue certainly barged him there. I've seen penalties given for less. He did get the ball, actually, to be fair to him. That's why Jack Cork didn't appeal too greatly for a penalty. Sean Dyche has a policy when looking for free kicks and penalty decisions, they try and be as honest as they possibly can, which sometimes can contribute towards the Clarets' downfall or failure in getting a penalty. They haven't had a Premier League penalty since the season before last. 46 games since they've last had a penalty. It's a whole championship season without one. Ben Foster with the catch. And he's playing a little bit of chicken then as he tries to get the ball forward. And in fact, it almost turned out to be an opportunity there for Andre Gray. And the ball was snuffled out by Westwood, but he took a risk or two there, the goalkeeper, and almost ended up with egg on his face. And again, good football again by Watford, as number 16 comes down this left right hand side, the Curry that is, and that's surely got to be a free kick. Foul by Deeney. That is a real silly challenge there to make on Ashley Westwood there by Troy Deeney, who had the privilege of who actually bombed a selfie I took when I went to Turf Moor last year to watch the corresponding fixture. I didn't commentate on it, but watched it as a spectator, and when I went to take photos, he's happened to be there, and he photobombed my own sort of selfie. Anyway, back to the game, and it's Lennon now across the face of goal, and nobody in claret and blue was gambling inside the penalty area. It's a lovely pullback from Lennon, and just nobody's prepared to get in the middle or get to that penalty spot area in the Watford penalty area, and just nobody there showing for the Clarets. And here's a chance here now for Pereira, who's got a good shot on him, as we saw last week against Brighton, and then the volley by Gray goes miscued and wide and behind for a goal kick. It's a lovely bit of play, this, really. Pereira, I thought, might have had the shot. The way he took those goals against Brighton last week, you would have fancied him there. And then Gray peeling off his man again. Tarkowski and he found wanting again. That's a slight concern, considering how Burnley based their good values on good defence. Sean Dyche as a defender will be sitting there tearing his hair out at some of the defending. Ben Mee does look a little over the place at the moment. It is a frustrating sign that Burnley should be in front, but not. But you've got to give Watford credit. They defended really well and defended manfully when they needed to. And I have to say the two centre-backs, because Belly and Cathcart have really done really well at the moment here. 27 minutes just over gone, and that's out of play for a throw-in to Burnley, coming off Troy Deeney last. Troy Deeney has plenty of things to say. Oh, he has been a very low skipper. I think it's a free kick, in fact, for a foul on Ben Mee. I think arguably he should be booked for taking out Ben Mee, but referee says no, just a free kick. They clap, they shake hands and get on with it. Joe Hart now with the kick on the Burnley left-hand side. It's a policy as well, Sean Dyche, that all the goalkeepers take the kicks. Anything up towards halfway line in their own half, the goalkeepers take them. Here's Lowton from the right-hand side, knocked away again. Chance on the edge of the area for Cork, hits it. And then Henrik, was he go down? The appeal for a penalty not given. And somehow Watford scramble it away by the penalty spot. Jeff Henrik then, possible shout for a penalty. Certainly 15,000 Clarets were appealing. 18,000 Clarets were appealing, and Tarkowski almost put his team in trouble. He might have done there with that pass, but Gray can't get on the end of the ball on halfway, and the ball is cut out by Cork. A long ball forward, Gudmundsson on the chase. Gudmundsson won't keep it in though. It's behind for a goal kick as he put it down the left hand side. And then consensus decision here for Paul Tierney. Oh, I don't know. Did he get the ball? Hard to tell then. There was a bit of a pinball machine scrap there. Let's have a look at the replay behind the goal. Comes to Henrik here. Now he gets the ball. Actually, that's a good decision from Mr. Tierney. My first impression was a penalty, but when I looked at 2 or 3 replays, I think Cathcart did well. Sean Dyche using the break to take on extra energy. But we really have to start taking chances here pretty quickly, I feel. I think Tierney got that one right. It's hard for me to say that, being a staunch Claret, and if people are trying to attempt to accuse me of biasness today in the comment section below, you know me to worry, because Burnley defensively have looked a little bit shocking today, and it definitely wasn't a penalty, having looked at the replay 2 or 3 times. Now then, Gudmundsson out on the far side up against Yamat, and Yamat winning the ball, but then the ball hooked back into the danger zone. Foster underneath it, takes the catch inside the 6-yard area. Good, safe, clean catch. The former Manchester United goalkeeper. Into his second spell at Vicarage Road. Had a couple of years on loan, and 2005-06 and 2006-07 when they were in the Premier League. They actually reached the Cup semi-final with him in goal. They did get relegated rather easily though, although they did, as I said, reach the Cup semi-final when they were humiliated 4-1 by Manchester United at Villa Park that particular occasion. Here's a chance for Cork across the face, and not hooked away properly there by Will Hughes. And in the end, Pereira to pick the loose ball up, and that's found Deeney now. He's drifted to the left-hand side. Good first time ball into Hughes, and Hughes through the middle here. Danger here for Burnley. Hughes has played it out to the far side. The cross in towards Decore, and then good defending from Tarkowski. Nodding it back, and the goalkeeper did keep that in play. That was really good football, this from Watford. A good lightning burst. Crossing from the right. Looking towards Decore. In fact, Lawton did, rather than Tarkowski, did well there. So I think I was doing Matt Lawton there a little bit of a disservice. As a player down on his haunches, I think it's Chris Wood, who's been fairly anonymous in this match, I'm afraid. Ali Beattie, the Burnley physiotherapist on the field. And this looks a little bit worrying. A little bit worrying in the respect that Chris Wood has not really shown much, dare I say, enthusiasm in the first 31 minutes. I'm sure he's trying his heart out, but he's certainly not getting into the positions you would expect a big striker like him to get on the end of. And that's kind of a worry, really, when you look at that. When you look closely at that, I think Wood will be A-OK to continue. That's his protocol now. You have to come off the field when you receive treatment for a few seconds, then come back on again as Deeney gets the ball back to Joe Hart. I think he tried to cheekily chip the goalkeeper. I think there would have been an uproar around the stadium if that had gone over Hart and in. I think the referee would have had to have given it, but wouldn't have been in the spirit of the game otherwise, but it didn't matter anyway because the goalkeeper caught it. Here's Lowton now on the right hand side, gets it over halfway, looking for the run of Chris Wood here. Jeff Henrik rather, and it's behind for a corner. Casbelli across there doing some good defensive work. 33 minutes gone, 1-1 the score here at Turf Moor. As we see that ball played over the top once again. Casbelli just on his bike there, but another little bit of passing there from Lowton that shows why he's taken to right back like a brought off a duck's back, really. Burnley score from a corner. How they could do with one now. Put them back in the lead. Gudmundsson on the near side, a little flick away. Wasn't the best corner that Johan Gudmundsson has put in. And then the ball back in, he's going to go harmlessly out of play. And another Burnley attack breaks down. It's been a tough baptism as Grazia, the Watford manager, and they call him head coach these days. I'm a bit old fashioned in that respect. I call them managers. I don't buy this head coach tosh, really, to be quite honest. I've got stronger words to describe the title of head coach. Let's just say he's a manager. Graham Taylor and Sir Bobby Robson would be tearing in their grave if they knew what a head coach was. Brian Clough, Don Reeving, they'd all be furious because the manager is the manager, not a head coach. He's not head of anything, he's the manager. And with all these traditional football people that prefer the boss of the football club, the boss of the footballing side, to be called their manager. Meanwhile, free kick. Fouled by Hughes on Jack Cork. He's had one or two bad challenges in this first half, Will Hughes. Checking on the welfare of the player. 35 minutes gone. Let's have a look at the foul again. Oh, look at that. I mean, that's late. It's at least 3 seconds after the ball's gone. I have to question Paul Tierney there. Why has he not got the book out? He's made one or two scandalous challenges. That's a scandalous challenge by Will Hughes. I've seen yellow cards given for less than that. Remember Joe Hart out in Istanbul? Remember Ashley Barnes out in Istanbul? Yellow cards for absolutely nothing. And yet Will Hughes acts down an opponent rather viciously, I felt, and gets nothing. Just a free kick going against him. Should be in the book for me. 10 minutes to half time. Burnley 1, Watford 1. And I have to say, evenly poised, although Burnley have had the better of it since the equaliser. But haven't taken the advantage yet. Just have to see how the second half pans out. If it's 1-1, the scoreline will certainly suit Watford's purposes rather than Burnley's, because they'll feel that they can regroup and use half time as an opportunity of rolling one or two heads in that Watford dressing room. Here's Hughes now up towards Deeney. Deeney now, or rather Gray I should say. Gray loses out there. And now Henrik takes possession. I have to say, for 36 minutes of this first half, it's been pretty entertaining. Burnley have tried to offer quite a lot, but no cigar as yet. Here's Cork now for the Clarets. 1-1 it remains here inside the last 10 minutes of this first period. Here's Lawton now to win the next one. Remember, Burnley have a point, Watford have 3, and looking for 2 wins out of 2. Watford going into this with a 100% record, looking to join Chelsea at the top of the Premier League. Meanwhile, as we speak, Manchester City are going great guns. 3-0 up now, I think, against a very poor Huddersfield side. And I think City are going to take some beating this coming season. Poised to have 2 wins out of 2 as well. So at the moment, Watford could be joining Chelsea and Manchester City at the top. Brighton and Manchester United to come a little bit later this afternoon down on the south coast. Flick on by Lennon now up towards Henrik, and then Capuin on halfway. Finds Hollybass. Hollybass now gets possession and gives it to Pereira. Hits it up towards Troy Deeney. Player born in Birmingham City fan, of course, Troy Deeney. But a Watford man through and through, and has been very loyal to that football club. Offside against him, actually. 3 kick to Burnley. And the former Watford player scored many goals for the Hornets. Now with Burnley, new signing, Matija Vidra, I should say. Not in the 18 today. He's got to meet a criteria called Dyche fit. You see, hear people say match fit, well, in Burnley circles there's such a word as Dyche fit, and he's not up to Dyche fitness levels at the moment to take part at the moment. But I'd like to see him get his chance, because he looks a real player, Vidra. He has been bouncing around in the Championship for so many years, and it's about time he had his opportunity in the Premier League. He's a very capable striker, talented finisher of a ball, and I think he'll add to Burnley's potency. And the sooner we get him in the team, I think the better, as Milton looks to try and go on the end of that, and actually kept that in well, and he's got the cross in. But now a chance now for Holmbass to get it away. Finds Pereira on the left hand side. Pereira now scorer of the 2 goals against Brighton last week at Vicarage Road. Finds Gray, touches it on to Hughes. Now Deeney has it. Pereira's now drifted out towards the right. Deeney will have a go, and that's a very good save now in the way to his right, by Joe Hart. It was struck from over 35 yards with the right foot there of Troy Deeney. And he struck it rather vigorously. I'm positively sure that was on target, hence why Joe Hart had to scamper across. Here's Deeney again, looking to get Andre Gray in behind, and also Pereira was forward. It's coming up towards the end of the first half, and now Wood on the chase, but Cathcart gets the ball back. 39.5 minutes gone here at the turf. 1-1 between Burnley and Watford in the Premier League. Burnley's first home league match of the season. Burnley's 6th competitive match. 2 legs against Aberdeen in the Europa. 4 matches in the Europa. 1 against Southampton last week, and of course today Watford. So they're 6 games into the season competitively, and there's still a few issues why they had to come in at the second qualifying stage. And Will Hughes there, that was quite a late tackle, and Sean Dyche is absolutely furious, and you can understand that. And Hughes could arguably have seen red for that. He's going to get a yellow, which he should have picked up some 5 minutes ago for a vicious challenge on Jack Cork. And you could argue that Hughes could go for that. Sean Dyche was adamant. It's Ward here. Oh, I tell you what, I've seen red for them. Hughes is a lucky man. He's a lucky man, and that should be a free kick, because I felt the ball was still on the field of play. He's given a throw-in to Watford. That's another strange decision from Tierney. And Sean Dyche is livid, and you can understand that. Tony Lochran trying to calm him down, but Ian Welland there as well. The 4th official getting an ear bashing there, and no wonder. How on earth can Paul Tierney first of all decide it's a yellow card for Hughes when it should be a red, and then secondly give a throw into Watford? It sounds rather harsh. Pereira now, if this goes in, there'll be uproar. Into Hughes, who should be off the pitch on paper, really. It was a very vicious tackle. He should be off really for 2 yellows, if you get the expression, because he should have seen yellow earlier on for a vicious challenge on Jack Cork, which he got away for. He's been persistently fouling throughout the game. How on earth is he allowed to stay on the pitch? Well, there will be questions asked if Hughes does score in this game. But you could tell what Sean Dyche felt about the challenge. He was no more than less than 5 yards from where it happened in his technical area, and you could tell straight away he wasn't really happy. Here's Lowton with the ball in, and that's too close to the goalkeeper. Ben Foster, who takes the ball. Well, I've got to be quite honest. I can't believe the referee has given a yellow card to Will Hughes. It looked a dead cert on as being a red there for me, and I've seen reds for less. Here's Ward now down the left-hand side. Coming towards the last 90 seconds. A chance here now across the face. Foster lost it. In goes Cathcart and Lennon, and then Westwood with a right-footed shot from 20 yards, which just whistles over the crossbar and into the cricket field stand behind for a goal kick. What a good bit of play this time. Goodmanson making the break on the right, but it's Wood here across the face. In fact, it's Cork who made the ball in. Lennon almost got there, and Westwood hitting the 20-yard thunderbolt, which just goes over the top. Henrik's cross, goalkeeper half parried it. Lennon went in, it was hooked away, half away, and then Westwood with his right foot just hitting it a fraction or two over the crossbar. Good football that from Burnley. And that's the football we know they can play. Here's Hughes though. Burnley fans giving him the bird because of his challenge on the halfway about 3 or 4 minutes ago, which he should have seen red, but sees yellow. Be interesting to see what Sean Dyche thinks about that after the match. But at the moment, it's not going Burnley's way at the moment. Watford surviving. And if they can get to half-time with the score at 1-1, then who knows. Here's Henrik now, midway inside his own half. Plays it up to the left-hand side, and Ward is there. 1 minute plus stoppage time left of the first half here at Turf Moor. The Clarets game delayed. And here's a ball down to Goodmanson, and Goodmanson's got him behind. Wood is waiting in the middle, but Wood is far too slow to get on the end of that, but he's got possession. And here's Lowton. Lowton plays it in towards Westwood. Westwood didn't go with the runner. That was a poor ball from Ashley Westwood. And Lowton, well, Pereira there pushing. You can't really do that, Pereira. You can't really do that. Poor Tierney needs to get a grip on this Watford foul play. He's calling Lowton over. I think Lowton's well within his rights to try and go for the ball. I'm surprised he hasn't booked or tried to have a word with Pereira for his parting things. Lowton's trying to go for it, and yeah, okay, he shoved him, but Pereira shoved him as well. Paul Tierney needs to learn. As a referee, you need to see things from both angles. The upshot of it is it's a goal kick, and we've got 2 added minutes, which were 11 seconds into the first of the 2. Foster with his left foot clears halfway over the halfway line, deep into the centre of the Burnley half. And here is Goodmanson out on the left, and he wins a throw-in. Minute and a half left of the 2 minutes. Burnley 1, Watford 1. And half-time we'll take a little break and then be back with the full second half commentary of this game this afternoon. And I think there's plenty to come here in the second half. I really am. I think there's been a lot of drama. Now look to foul there on Lennon. A complete and utter push there from Cathcart. That was really stupid. Just a free kicker. Well, I think Paul Tierney is... Well, it's Holebas, in fact, that... he's claiming a dive, but it was a clear push. Clear push, and Holebas can... Well, he's going to... If he's not careful, he's going to talk himself into the referee's notebook. In fact, he's calling Holebas across here, Paul Tierney. I wouldn't be surprised in the least if the yellow card comes out here. We're into the second of the 2 minutes here. Troy Deeney lending his ear to the conversation. Well, he ought to. He's captain. And Holebas now, any more like that... I mean, I can just tell what he's saying here. Paul Tierney to Holebas. If there's any more lip from you, Sonny Jim... That's a clear push. If there's any more jip and out of order speaking to you, my friend, then you will be going into the notebook. Or even worse, an early bath. Well, we're 10 seconds away from the end of the first half, and it's Burnley 1, Watford 1 at Turf Moor. Burnley should really be in front, and Burnley should be playing against 10 men because Will Hughes made a horror challenge on halfway, could have injured Stephen Ward, and the referee failed to notice that as the half-time whistle goes. So the scoreline here at the Turf Moor, it's 1-1. Both goals coming in the first 6 minutes. Gray after 3 minutes, a sumptuous volley from a hook, from a good cross from the right-hand side by Troy Dean, and then the equaliser from a Goodmanton corner on the right, headed from 6 yards in by James Tarkowski. Will Hughes should and could have been sent off 5 minutes before the end of the first half for a horrible challenge on Stephen Ward. But at half time here, it's 11-man Burnley 1, Watford 1. We're going to take a couple of minutes. Join us then for the second half. Welcome back to Turf Moor for the start of the second half. Watford to get us underway. No changes from either of the two sides, so it's as you were. Just to remind you, the two lineups: Hart in goal for Burnley, Lowton, Tarkowski, Mee and Ward across the back. Five in midfield from right to left: Lennon, Enric, Cork, Westwood and Goodmanson. Wood up front, the lone striker for Watford. 4-4-2, Foster in goal, then it's Homerbass, Kazabelli, Cathcart and Yamat from left to right. As we just break off for a second there, but Lawton intercepts and it hooks it out for a throw. The midfield four, again left to right. Pereira, Decore, Capu and Will Hughes, who should have been sent off in the first half for a horrible challenge and halfway on the far side by the two benches on Stephen Ward. And up front, Gray, and who scored one of the goals, and Troy Deeney, the Watford captain. So those are the two 11s. We'll give you the two benches as soon as we get them. Here's Olabas with a throw-in. Level with the Burnley penalty area, headed away by Lawton, and that's a foul on Lawton as he was attempting to head that ball. Troy Deeney making his presence felt. 1 minute of the second half gone. Watford 1, Burnley 1. Or what? Burnley 1, Watford 1, I should say. Get the teams right way up, John. Right, free kick to Burnley. Joe Hart to take the free kick just on the edge of the 6-yard area. Here's the long ball towards Henrik, and Henrik is chasing that one, but Cathcart caused a little bit of trouble there, and it's a Watford throw-in. Well, looked a Burnley one to me, but the referee gives it the other way, and the linesman gives it the other way. I have to say the referee's not made too many popular decisions around this ground this afternoon. But more standing to change a bit with the building lights going on for the disabled stands that are going in the corners over on the far side, on the left hand side of the ground, and of course on the near side as well, between the Jimmy McElroy and Cricker and main stand. That's the James Hargreaves for sponsorship reasons. This is Deeney over there towards the far side. Pereira has a bit of space here, faced by Tarkowski. Tarkowski doesn't let him get the cross in. Here's Hughes. Back again this time. Deeney will try the shot, hits Ben Mee. Still a chance here, and the ball back in. Deeney and Burnley were caught ball watching, and Deeney puts it in with his right foot and jumps over the advertising boards and gives it large in front of the travelling supporters who celebrate with him. Troy Deeney, first goal of the season in the league. And Burnley here, poor defending. Deeney had the original shot from 20 yards. It was blocked by Mee, and then the pass through. And Ben Mee should have been closer to Deeney for me. Joe Hart was badly exposed as soon as Decore played the ball through. From that moment on, Joe Hart was badly exposed, had no chance. And Deeney did the rest and finished it superbly with his right foot. Toe poker actually into the net, and Burnley are putting themselves to blame for that, and Ben Mee has to take the responsibility for that, I'm afraid. Poor defending there by the Burnley captain. 2-1 to Watford as Wood jumps for the ball from the kick-off, and the ball goes dead into touch for a goal kick to Watford, who now have Burnley just the way they want them, and it's almost a carbon copy of what happened in the first half. Nearly 4 minutes of the second half, and by that time Watford has scored for Gray. Now Burnley have come back from the dead once in this match. They've got to do it again. But it was poor. It's got to be said, poor defending there from Ben Mee. If he doesn't, if he watches the run, he's just caught ball watching, and that is a cardinal sin when you're a centre back. Watford meanwhile are throwing on halfway. Grazia's side 2-1 up, thanks to some really generous Burnley defence. Oh, a little slip there. Oh, almost got one in there. Burnley a little bit unfortunate there. It is very difficult, the conditions, certainly for away teams, but Burnley, now the squad they've got, they've learned how to adapt to playing these conditions for years and years and years, and yet they find themselves 2-1 down. I think Watford have adapted to conditions a little bit more better than Burnley have at the start of the second half, and Sean Dyche must be, well, if he's got any hair left, he must be tearing it out. One kick forward this time, and Westwood in to win the next ball, and here's Lennon. Lets it go for a Burnley throw-in, and now Burnley need to release some pressure here. 5's gone in the second half, and Lowton to take the throw-in. Lowton to Court, back to Lowton. Oh, straight to Will Hughes. A real cardinal sin. Will Hughes now getting on the left foot, 20 yards out. He scores! And another gift of a goal for Watford, and a man that really, that's arguably, so a lot of people, including this commentator, will argue should not be on the pitch, has just fired Watford into a 3-1 lead. And again, you have to say, taking the personal feelings out of it, it was given away here by Lawton. This was stupid. What was he thinking, Matt Lawton? Really stupid ball, and then Hughes hits it left-footed, 20 yards, left to centre. Joe Hart hasn't got a prize, but some will argue he should have been sent off in the first half. Ben Mee has to take his share of the blame for backing off and giving Hughes the licence here to hit the shot. It's unstoppable, but he's been gifted it by two sloppy pieces of Burnley defending. First of all, the vagrant pass from Matt Lawton. What was he thinking? And then Ben Mee for just backing off. It was stupid defending from both Burnley players. This has not been a good start to the second half, and, well, it'll increase the frustrations around this ground now, because a lot of people sitting around me reckon Will Hughes shouldn't be on the field. But that's not an excuse. The fact is, Lawton and Ben Mee have been responsible for giving Watford 2 goals they should never have been entitled to have if they'd have defended them properly and did the right basics right. And it's down to basic errors. 7 minutes gone, Burnley 1, Watford 3. And we've only ourselves to blame on those 2 goals, regardless of what happened with Hughes in the first half. The reality is we've gifted Watford 2 quick-fire goals and nearly 2 to 3 minutes between the 2 goals. We're all back with Ben Foster now, and, well, Burnley can't afford to stop trying now. Clarets here must be an happy man. He's not won away. Watford have not won away under his leadership since he's taken over. And here's Hughes again, brainless football this time. Stephen Ward, really careless football here from Burnley. And a yellow card, well, that just sums up the mentality of this referee. It has to be said. It's a foul, no more. Ward gets it away. Well, he's hardly touched him for me. Hughes has gone down, and the man who arguably should have been sent off has stayed on the field. And then Ward gets a yellow card for nothing. And Hughes should have been sent off by now. That's the frustration from Burnley fans will look at it from. But you've got to, as much as I'm with them on the refereeing decision not to send Will Hughes off, and it was a poor decision, I also have to look at the bigger picture, and Burnley have not defended well enough for me today. They've got a free kick here, Watford, in a very promising position. And it's Hollybass into the penalty area, and this time Tarkowski, who's been one of the better defenders, nods it out, but it's only as far as Capo. Watford here gunning for a 4th, and it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if they got a 4th here. Burnley look all over the place. Kills me to say it, but it's the harsh reality that's been played out in front of me here. They've started the second half really, really much on the back foot, and they've started the second half so poorly. It's unbelievable. As Ben Mee heads it back, and this time it has the rated distance, and why didn't he use his brains on those 2 goals that have just gone in? It is very difficult. It's easy for me to sit in a commentary box for 90 minutes and criticise footballers. But what I've seen from Burnley in this second half has been nothing short of pathetic. And as a team, they've just lost all interest or heart and desire. And at the moment, the sweat on the shirt that was promised from Dyche, I've not seen precious evidence of that so far in this second half. Here's Henrik now. Lennon. They must play with that intensity. Watford just getting numbers back, but Burnley is just not trying at the moment, and that hurts me saying this, but it's just not the case. We can sit there and complain about what could have happened in the first half, but the reality is 10 minutes into the second half we've conceded 2 quick-fire goals, both of which has been made for our own misguidedness. I was going to say misfortunes, but I wouldn't have said misfortune was the right word for that. Misguidedness and brainless football is more My words, I think. And Wood plays in towards Gudmundsson. Gudmundsson's crossing again. Nobody with any hunger or desire waiting in the middle. And again, why isn't Sean Dyche reacting? Hasn't made a substitution yet. 10 minutes in the second half gone. Burnley trail by 2. And Pereira finds Hughes, who, let's not kid ourselves, should not be on the field of play. Should have been sent off in the first half. Here's Waldo back to Joe Hart, who, let's give Joe Hart his fair dues. He had no chance on first, the second or the third Watford goals. They were just too good for him, and he's a top quality goalkeeper. Has been keeping clean sheets left, right and centre since he's joined Burnley from Manchester City. Here's Jack Cork, and Cork just gets it through to Ward, who's not had his best game by any stretch of imagination. Henrik now to Ward, left hand side into Gudmundsson. Burnley really need to show a bit of ambition, and they're not doing at the moment. They need to get back in this game. They need to throw men forward, but they're being too conservative at the moment. They're trying to play too much ticky-tacky, and they can't afford to. They've got to hoof it in. They've got to get back to being Burnley here. The Burnley in last season, making it difficult for the opposition, and they're not doing here. 3-1 down. They seem to be losing heart every single by the second here. I hate to say this being a Burnley lad, but it's true. They really need to get their brains into gear and actually put in some real effort in the second half, because for what I've seen, they've just been really, really poor. Give Watford their credit. They've taken their chances on offer, and that's the harsh reality of it. Here's Cork now, midway side of the Watford half. Another poor ball. He's got lucky this time. It's fallen very nicely for Lowton. Ball into the area. Flick on there by Wood, who's not had a particularly good start to this season. One has got to say Chris Wood. And you just wonder, would he be better benefiting with a spell on the bench and maybe getting Barnes and Vokes a chance? Well, he should be. Well, if I was Sean Dyche now, I'd be making me changes pretty quick now, because 3-1 down, you've got less than half an hour. Why not throw them on for half an hour? Go 4-4, 3-1 Watford lead as we come up towards an hour mark here, and it's been a horror show of a second half here by Burnley. If Alfred Hitchcock had wrote a script for this, he wouldn't have been far from the truth. It has been a real shocker of a horror display from Burnley in this second half. And here's Hughes. I thought he might have teed it up on his left foot, and here comes Decore, and it was hounded out, and this time better defended from the Clarets. But why didn't they not do that at the start of the second half? Watford have a throw in, which Olivas will be in no rush to take. I have to say the first 15 minutes of the second half have gone rather quickly here. Olivas to take the throw in. Pereira's there too. Back to Olivas on the left hand side. Does well, gets to the byline. 4 or 5 yellow shirts to play in, and in the end it's out off Lennon for a corner. Burnley look all at sea. And Watford here on the verge of adding more insult to injury here. 59 minutes gone. Burnley 1, Watford 3, and those two second and third Watford goals were handed on a silver platter to Watford. Olivas to take the corner far side, and it's pulled back towards Hughes, and Hughes tries to strike one again with his left foot, blocked away this time. Burnley just looking devoid of any real ideas and real cohesion, and they can't use the European games as an excuse. They certainly can't use the game on Thursday as an excuse. At least 50% of the team that started, maybe a bit more than that, did not start on Thursday, so there's no excuse in terms of tiredness and fitness. And a lot of fans around me are putting that down as that problem, but it's not. They are professionals. They haven't travelled. They've been playing the European match at Turf Moor this week, and now I understand it is a very, very difficult situation here for Burnley. They find themselves in here, and it's been their own making, and they've given the ball away once again. The ball towards Troy Deeney, is looking for his second goal. He can't keep it in this time. The Birmingham ball forward. Played 60. It played an hour and a half. We'll play 60.5 minutes of the second half. And once again, Westwood dawdling. The whole team performance this first 15 minutes of the second half has been, well, feeble from Burnley. Feeble is the word. And if they are going to go on to lose, there will be questions asked to the referee, certainly in the first half. Why Hughes wasn't sent off when he gave a yellow card when it was clearly a red for a foul on Ward. But it's put some maybes now. He stayed on the pitch and has scored the third goal, which might be the decisive one, unless Burnley can find a way back in. No activity on the bench. Another frustration, and that's frustrating the Burnley folk at the moment. Here's Gummerton now cutting in from the left hand side. Back to Ben Mee. Back in field once again. Gummerton takes possession. The whole Burnley team are passing the ball around but not going anywhere with it, and they're not putting in the effort or the hard mileage to get themselves back into this game. The substitutes are just sitting there nonchalantly on the bench, and Sean Dyche is doing absolutely nothing to spurt anything into action. This has been poor from Burnley. We've been playing 61 minutes. They played well in the first half, and then for some reason they just haven't had the stomach for it in this second half. And it kills me as a Burnley lad and as a self-confessed Claret to say this, but the harsh truth is they haven't been good enough, Burnley, today, and you cannot excuse them for that. However poor the referee was in not sending Will Hughes off before the break, that's irrelevant now. As Foster left-footed again, kicks forward, and again they have on looking for Deeney. And Tarkowski, who's actually been one of Burnley's better players, gets it away. And now a chance here for Wood, who really needs to get his brain into gear here. Henrik, in fact, was on the ball. But I have been disappointed again with Chris Wood. I don't think he's stepped up to the plate for me in this match. And that has been the massivest disappointments, really, from a Burnley viewpoint, because he was bought in their club record. He did well, got 11 goals, but there's something about him this season that's just not adding up. 63 gone. Burnley 1, Watford 3, and they're keeping possession really well. Hollebass now chips the ball into the penalty area looking for Andre Gray, but well put out the air by Joe Hart, who again today he's played too well to have free put past in the England goalkeeper with 75 England caps behind him. 2 league titles with Manchester City. Won a couple of League Cups and an FA Cup. In his 13 years at the Etihad Stadium. I was going to say Main Road. They haven't been in Main Road, Manchester City now since the turn of the century. 2002 they left that famous old stadium, and now we're going to see Burnley change, and not before time. Should have happened at least 10 minutes sooner. And it's only one change. I expected a double change. It looks, well, it's going to have to be Henrik that makes way here for Ashley Barnes. It's Ashley Barnes about to come on, and sure, it's got to be Henrik that goes here. It's not. It's Chris Wood. Well, that's a surprise. He's staying with the one up top here. Well, that's a poor. I think he's took the wrong man off for me. I would have given it 10 minutes with Chris Wood if that was the situation. I cannot understand why Barnes has come on. I don't know why it's like for like. I would have sacrificed Jeff Henrik there and put Barnes up there in support of Wood, but that sounds like a very odd substitution from Dyche. And as good a manager has been for Burnley, some of the substitutions that he makes, you just scratch your head and wonder. Here goes Henrik now, who should have been substituted in my opinion. Hasn't had his best game. But again, you've got to put it down to Dyche putting him in that number 10 role when he's not clearly a number 10. Barnes trying to upset one or two defenders in the penalty area. He's going to have to do it on his own for the time being. Here's Westwood now for Burnley. To Lennon, can't get the flick back, and Burnley really need to start trying a lot harder than they are doing, because they're not doing enough, in my opinion, to try and effect and make it a real grandstand finish. And Hughes tackles well, but then the ball back by Gudmundsson to Hart, and that's the frustration here. Burnley are going nowhere fast in attack, and you just wonder if Hughes had not been on the pitch, you just wonder if it would have been a different story. But I'm not going to make excuses for Burnley, because for the first 20 minutes they have been abysmally poor. They've been feeble. They've had no try, and you know what? I don't think they've tried in the second half. It seemed too easy for Watford. Far too easy. Harsh truth. We can go on about the referee not sending Will Hughes off for that challenge on Ward. And my goodness, if he'd had done the right thing and shown a red card, it would have made a heck of a difference. But he didn't. And we should have reacted better to going 2-1 down, or we should have started the second half much better, whether we were playing against 10 men or 11. But we are losing 3-1, and it's down to our own doing. Here's Gudmundsson now for the Clarets. We really need to show a little bit of passion and a little bit of pride here, because they're showing none of this at the moment in the second half. 21 and a half minutes of the second half. It's so easy for Watford. So easy now for them just to rest on their laurels here. And a little chip ball forward. Gudmundsson and rather floating forward. And he has to take the shoulder of the blame. It's just been so pedestrian-like from Burnley. They've been stuck in first gear right from the word go in this first 22 minutes of the second half. And when you play in first gear and you're playing a very slow pedestrian type pace, you invariably get punished, and that's what's happened here. Watford have been better in the second half. They've been better to put their body on the line. Gray is going to come off, and Seamer is going to come on, number 12. Andre Gray getting his now traditional boos. And nothing stopping this one. It's a good cross from Deeney, and he hits it well on the volley. There may be a little element of luck. He may have shimmed that, actually. But still, again, you've got to look at the Burnley marking again. Why was Gray not picked up? Why was the player to stop the cross from Deeney going in? It was just schoolboy defending. Take nothing away from the 3 goals that Watford have got, but all of them have come from schoolboy errors. 3-1, midway inside the second half now. 67 coming up to 68 minutes. Burnley 3-1 down here against the Watford side, who are having it so easy. Burnley have not been themselves today. And I wonder what Sean Sykes will say after the match here, if it does turn out to be that way. Here's Deeney now on the break. Hughes, who a lot of people will argue should not be on the field. But that's, again, as I say, I keep harping on. No excuse for what's happening in the second half, really, because Burnley have not helped themselves. Here's Hughes now on the right-hand side. Chips the ball in there towards Pereira. Can't flick it around the corner. Now, Tarkowski, who's probably been the pick of the Burnley defenders, hasn't really put too much wrong today, James Tarkowski. Ben Mee has certainly put a lot of foot wrong. Now then, Sam Vokes, it must be for Chris Wood here. But again, 68 minutes. It's not really enough time here to try and produce something here. Billy Mercer handing the 4th official's board to the 4th official. Jeff Henrik coming off. Well, he had to come off at some point, didn't he? Chris Wood. Well, it should have been Jeff Henrik on the first substitution, really. Not Chris Wood. But to me now, Burnley have got to go 4-4-2, but they've done it 10 minutes too late for me now. And again, you've got to look at Sean Dyche and think, why? Why should and why has he not done it sooner? Anyway, 3 kick to Burnley. Into the area it goes. Towards Box. Good header! And just wide, and almost made the instant impact for Burnley. And that is the best we've seen of him in the second half, and it came from one of their familiar sources here. Free kick, good free kick, Gudmundsson with his left foot, and a header there from Boaks. Just needs a little bit of a direction on it, and then it's 3-2. But I think Tarkowski got in the way and got a little flick on that, which took it wide of Foster. He was scampering across to his left, but it wasn't getting anywhere near that. That is a touch better from Burnley. 70 minutes gone. Still remains 3-1 Watford. Apart from that one little moment there for Sam Vokes, Burnley have offered nothing at all in the second half. And that is sad to see. And you've got to And if people are going to put it down to squad depth, then the blame has got to lie solely at the chairman's door, Mr. Garlic. We haven't mentioned him today, and I've tried to resist the temptation until now, but I can't now. I've got to look at Mr. Garlic and think, why did you not... Why did they lake about in the transfer window and buy 3 players before... I know they bought 3 players in, they should have bought 4 or 5 in that window. And Mr. Garlic, if he's watching on, listening on the far side, I don't think he will be, and I don't think he tunes into our channel, but if by some coincidence you do tune into this channel, Mr. Garlic, I just like to say you've not backed the manager enough. Some people have called him Ebenezer Scrooge throughout the window, on which you can understand. And the lack of depth is there for all to see. Look at that from from Cork. It was a poor pass. It was lucky that Watford had men back because it found Tarkowski in the end. But it's just silly football from Burnley. They just don't show any desire or cohesion or any great spirit. I really am worried about Burnley today. I know teams are due an off day. I accept that, but what we come to expect here, Burnley have not attempted, but most of the second half to really make a fight of it and show a bit of pride in their performance. Even if you are 3-1 down, show a bit of pride, show a bit of fight. Burnley have done nothing of that magnitude. Here's Stephen Ward now. 18 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Here's Goodmanson here for the Clarets. Goodmanson's cross, it's a good one, and headed away, or flicked away I should say, by Craig Cathcart. Did well there. Plus real positive bright spark from many of the flanks today, and that was Goodmanson. Here's Ben Mee now to win the next ball. Still Burnley have it deep inside Watford territory on the left hand side. This is Ward. Ward now being hustled there, gets the crossing too close to Foster, and that's been the crossing really has been poor. Ben Foster has had a fields day really. He's made about 5 or 6 clean catches. The truth of the matter is they haven't really tested Foster enough as much as I like. Yeah, they did well in the first half, Burnley, in terms of testing the keeper, but in the second half they've done next to nothing. Lazy defending on the second and third Watford goals, and it's just been lazy forward play, and again wrong balls, and again a long ball there which was never going to find Goodmanson in a month of Sundays. Burnley making a final change. It's going to be Charlie Taylor, like for like, I think, for Stephen Ward. I suppose it's a change that I'm not altogether surprised, because Ward is now cracking on a bit now into his 30s now. Stephen Ward has been around the block a few times, the former Wolves man, but it hasn't been his day today. He's had a poor, by his high standards, Stephen Ward, and I think he is a very professional guy, Stephen. I don't think he'll have enjoyed that too much today. I think it's been one of his poorest games, bar none, in a Clarets shirt. It's been a disappointing day, and there's a few Burnley fans who are just fuming at the lack of cohesion and the lack of effort. As I say, I'll get the social media view after the match and Sean Dyche's reaction to it. Here's Jack Cork now forward, and cut out once again. Hughes forward again towards Deeney. Deeney does well. Hughes holds it up well and tries to get Seaman down that right hand channel, out for a throw in. Tarkowski has probably been one of the few Burnley players that's actually done well in the second half. Really just to see who the sponsors give man of the match to. I'm really struggling and scratching my head to try and find a man of the match, because I just can't think of one. Jack Cork hasn't played well. Ashley Westwood hasn't played well. Jeff Hendricks certainly didn't play well. Chris Wood certainly didn't play well. Ben Mee on the ball has not played the way a Burnley captain should play, with heart, desire and fight. Been little of no fight from him today, it has to be said. Here's Westwood now for the Clarets, who are trail 3-1 here, and deservedly so, because they haven't offered anything at all in this second half. Here's Tarkowski trying to put things right. Now Ben Mee, whose carelessness has led to those 2 goals, along with Matt Lowton, of course. Taylor gets his first touch on the Left hand side, back to Joe Hart. Joe Hart has done okay. Apart from picking out the ball 3 times, he's not had that much to do. And that is going to be a foul there on by Ashley Barnes by Mr. Tierney. Little nudge there. One of the Watford players. I think he makes a hell of a great deal about that, Ollie Bass. I think the referees are very quick to blow up against Ashley Barnes on a lot of occasions. And I think he's the victim of... he's the target of referees. I think a lot of the physicality has gone out the game in recent years. And Deeney now has fouled his man. I think he's found Tarkowski. And Paul Tierney again letting the Watford players get away with blue murder. I thought that was a yellow card offence. I mean, look at that. He's clearly pushed Tarkowski over there. Silly foul. And I think he should be at least in the book for that. But take nothing away from Watford. They have been exemplary when they've had their chances, and they've taken their chances very, very well. And but in all fairness, Burnley have gifted them the 3 goals that they've had today. Not that Grazia will be too concerned about that. He's more concerned that the 3 points are heading down the M1 down to Hertfordshire from East Lancashire this afternoon, and it's a disappointing day for all the Clarets. Here's Goodmanson now on the left hand side. Cork now. They really do need to stop. They really need to start getting their fingers out their backsides and start playing here. Charlie Taylor, fresh legs from the bench, tries to win a corner, and unfortunately for him, wins only a throw. Will Hughes again. Oh, another careless ball from Ben Mee, and he's done this time and time and time. Too much time. And in the end, Lawton had to concede a 3 kick 10 yards from halfway inside the Watford half. Because Watford had a good attack going there with the number 12 Seamer, and Lawton went right through the back of him. The referee had no other choice but to give the 3 kick. 77 minutes and 40 seconds of the game gone. Burnley heading towards the first defeat in the Premier League this season, trailing by 3 goals to 1 against the Watford side, who have been very ruthless in their finishing this afternoon. And I don't think anybody can argue with the way Watford have played in the second half. It's been so easy for them. 12 minutes left of the game. Watford have a throw almost halfway inside the Burnley half of the field on the left hand side. And they're in a very good position here. 3 goals to 1 up. Burnley need 2 goals inside 12 minutes. The last 12 minutes plus stoppage time to claim a point. 3 would win them the match, and I have seen them score 3 in the last 10 minutes of a game before. Preston were in this sort of situation at 3-1 with 78.5 minutes gone, and Burnley came back, I think, in the last sort of 6 minutes and scored 3 goals. Chris O'Leary involved with 2, and the hometown boy Jay Rodriguez, who were very close to signing, I believe. And you just wonder now, if Burnley had brought 2 or 3 extra bodies in, this game would not have been so much a problem. And 2 winnable fixtures, really, if he yielded just 1 point from those 2 games. Not the start that everyone around Turf Moor was hoping for. And expectations, quite rightly, will have arisen after their surprise finish, after the Clarets' surprise 7th place finish last season. As a kick away there by Ben Foster now comes over to the halfway line. The ball breaks for Tarkowski, who's not let anyone down today. He's probably... well, I've said that. I've just put the commentator's curse on him there. Because he's giving it straight to Yamat. Now he's giving it straight to his right-hand side. Watford going in search of another one here. 4-1. They're looking for a 4th one here. And they're trying to play the ticky-tacky. And in the end, Taylor... well, hooks it out for a throw-in. Should be a Burnley throw. Well, looks like it's a Watford ball, because it's Watford's ball here. I was just trying to see that one again. I want to see who deflected off. Again, it's so easy for Watford here to thread their way through, and Charlie Taylor made an absolute almost dog's dinner of that clearance. It's even spreading to the substitutes now. Time to play plus stoppage time. Burnley look a well beaten side here. Second half, it's just been too much for them. They've shown no character, no spirit, no desire, no fight, no heart, and definitely and utterly no sweat on the shirt whatsoever. That's how poor their second half performance has been, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was criticism really tonight, because it just simply has not been good enough. Credit to Watford, and to give them their fair dues, they've taken their chances when they've needed to, but it's been a complete disaster from the start of the second half till the 81st minute so far for the Clarets, as we come up towards 81 minutes gone here at Turf Moor. What a complete and utter frustration. And Sean Dyche will also be dumbfounded that Will Hughes should have been sent off for a nasty challenge on Stephen Ward in the first half, in the last 5 minutes of that half. And if Hughes goes, it's a different kettle of fish, but Watford came out of it having got away with murder in that first half, and have absolutely outplayed Burnley in every department in the second, and that you've got to give them a bit of credit for. And that's a good ball, looking for the run here of Pereira, but once doing the simple things correct, hadn't done the simple things right, and that's another criticism. They haven't done the basics. Another foul there against Barnes. Barnes is furious. Capu, the man he's adjudged to a foul. 10 yards of get inside the Watford half. 82 gone. Looks like we're going to see a change here for Watford. Number 21, Firmino. Burnley have used all three of their changes, so they can't use Heaton, Gibson, Bardsley or Kevin Long. Okay. Firmino comes on, and Will Hughes, who arguably should have been sent off, is now being substituted off and being roundly booed by some sections of the Burnley supporters who felt he should have been red carded. Should have seen red for the first half, and a horrible tackle on Stephen Ward, but he was allowed to stay on and scored the third one, which has probably decided the whole issue. So Firmino is on. Burnley now look a well beaten side as they take the throw in midway inside their own half, but it comes to Watford again. They're just playing the ball about it well, and they get another throw here, level with the edge of the Burnley area. So much frustration around Turf Moor this afternoon. The game started in. They came out to the sound of a raucous Burnley fans who were hopeful and praying that this would be 3 points on the bag today. They all thought it was a home banker. I'd predicted on my Friday night predictions it'd be 1-0 Burnley. Instead it's gone 3-1 the other way, and that is a bitter disappointment for a lot of Burnley fans to swallow. Watford get the decision once again. Another throw in on the far side. Olibas to take the throw in over the edge of the Burnley penalty area, and it's just not been Burnley's day so far, as they get a throw this time. 6 minutes to play, and oh, that's ridiculous. They're trying to get on with the game and the referee keeps pulling them back. I think that's another poor refereeing decision. Let them get on with the game. Very fussy, poor Tierney there. Less than 6 to play, plus stoppage time. Burnley hurtling towards defeat here, and hurtling in a very fast and rapid way here. 2 quick fire goals at the start of the second half. Defensive errors have cost them the goals from Dean Hughes. I've made it 3-1, and Burnley get a free kick, and oh dear me, it's getting a little unsavoury here. Tarkowski frustrated, and Cena thrown to the ground, but it was a foul on him, fouled by him on Tarkowski, and Tarkowski trying to get on with the game. Team were just getting within his way, and Tarkowski had every right to throw into the ground, and it has been frustrating, but Burnley need to get on with it. 5 minutes with stoppage time left to play, And it has been a dismal afternoon for the Clarets, and there's no two ways about that. It's Watford now look to see this game out, 3-1 up, complete control. Burnley have tried with 3 substitutions, but should they have made them sooner rather than later? One has to ask the question, and I think if I had one question to ask Sean Dyche, I'd be asking that question to him right now, because that's certainly a fault in that in his managerial's armoury. As we see, I'm just seeing Isaac Success getting stripped off and ready to go on the far side. Looks as if he's going to come on for the remainder of the game. 4 minutes to go. Burnley 1, Watford 3, and Watford now just passing the ball out on the right, just keeping possession here. Firmino keep doing well, just playing the ball back, and now a chance now for Cathcart. Cathcart hooks the ball forward, and Firmino now takes it on the chest. Yamat did well as well on the right, and Decora. Looks as if Isaac's Success is about to be ready for action. He's getting his last minute instruction from one of the Watford backroom staff as we come towards the end of the game. Been a frustrating afternoon for the Clarets, and here comes Isaac's Success now, about to come on and have a 3 minute, maybe a little bit more cameo at the end of the game. And good applause there from the Watford fans. Not often in the last few years they've seen their team win away. Looks like as if they're going to wait for Success to come on, I think. As Burnley come away with the ball once more, and it's Taylor now to get it away for the Clarets. 3-1 down. One ball forward, but again, folks can't get there, and here goes Pereira now. Pereira towards the edge of the area. Chances here now for them to wrap it up. The shot from Seema is, well, half parried by Hart, and in the end Deeney couldn't prop it from the rebound. Pereira did well. Seema has his shot on his left foot. Good save initially, and just couldn't hold it. Hart, and Deeney almost in there. Tarkowski stopped him in his tracks. It's a corner. Meanwhile, Success about to come on for the remainder of the match, and Watford unsurprisingly taking their time. It's the talisman that's going to come off, the captain, the leader of Watford, the man that makes Watford tick. And we're just seeing his second goal, and Bentley should have reacted a lot better to the movement of Troy Deeney, who couldn't believe how much time he had in the penalty area to stick the ball right-footed low past Joe Hart. Isaac Success will now come on to play his part in what will surely now be a Watford success, and maintain their 100% record at the start of this new Premier League season. Burnley 1 draw, 2 defeats. Here's Success now from the corner, up against well, a foul given against Tarkowski. Lawton is also sarcastically, well, he's having a word here, referee. I don't know what about. He's calling Tarkowski over. Watford have got a cheap free kick here. This is what happened. Tarkowski getting involved there, and, well, loves it back. I can understand the frustration there on Tarkowski's face. He's giving everything into this game, unlike his teammates. Now Success is tangling with Lawton. Oh, there's a stamp there. I'll tell you what, Success is pushing back, and Burnley are frustrated. Lawton is absolutely smiling. That's poor from the left back, right back, I've got to say. He's still clearly stood on Success. You cannot legislate for that, even as a staunch Claret. That is really ridiculous play from Matt Lawton. Really ridiculous thing for him to do. There is frustration in the air. Success's hand was clearly conclusively stood on, and there's no excusing that. Tarkowski frustrated, and then Lawton comes round the side and then just clearly stamps on his head. And I'm surprised Paul Tierney didn't see that, actually. And as a self-confessed Claret, I'm so very surprised that Lawton's got away with that. I think Lawton will be, when he looks at the replay of that, and Tierney hasn't spotted it, obviously. But if the FA, and they're well within their rights to get involved here in matters such as stamping, They could actually ban him for 3 matches, and this is what Burnley don't need with a threadbare squad. Here's the cross coming in from the free kick. They have a free kick. Comes to me and hooks it goalwards and hooks it over the top. We're now into 4 added minutes, for which we've played 20 seconds of the 4. Benby, that's the best thing he's probably done all day, quite frankly. Suspicions there maybe of offside from the free kick, but not given there, and me trying to control it with his left foot. Couldn't get it on target. But there may well be action taken against Matt Lowton here from the Football Association. Success, Tango in there, Tarkowski frustrated, and then Lowton, for some reason, just loses his geography, loses his head, and just clearly stamps on Success. It's probably well within his rights to have a go back at him. It has been poor, really, and Matt Lowton, who's usually a very reliable player, has let Burnley Football Club down in the highest possible order today, because he hasn't played well at all. Guilty of gift wrapping a third goal for Will Hughes, and then goes and stamps on Isaac's Success. He's compounded what has been a poor day by his high standards. Really has, and quite frankly, if Mr. Tierney had spotted that and sent Lowton off, I don't think anyone could have had too many complaints about that. Burnley have a free kick 5 yards inside the Watford half on the right hand side. Joe Hart's going to take it. And it's not the best kick, I'm afraid. Burnley have just not looked hungry enough to win first or second balls. But that's a good ball. And there's Barnes' header at the back post. And it's straight into the arms. And then he's been adjudged to be offside by the linesman. It's just not been Burnley's day. Bar none today. But they have been poor second half. That's just brainless again. You just stay on side. That's ridiculous. That should be better forward play for me. They just haven't offered enough up top for me, Burnley. They just haven't had the desired effect. And that's where you've got to give Watford credit. They've wanted it more than Burnley in this second half. Burnley played well in the first half. We'll feel aggrieved, obviously, that Hughes should have been sent off. But then, by the same token, should Lowton have been sent off a few seconds ago? Clear stamp on Success. That's a poor tackle there by Yamat. He's cleaned out Charlie Taylor. And he's cleaned him out so cleanly that he's got to go for that. Taylor taken out, went down the slope and onto the running track by the side of the pitch. We've got about 1 minute and 10 left of the game, and you just wonder what Sean Dyche will say after the game. And will there be repercussions from the Football Association towards Matt Lowton? You would think so. And if there's any news, we will keep you up to date on the JB Claret YouTube channel as the cross comes in towards the back post. Barnes again lurking. A little bit of hesitancy there in the Watford defence, but the ball bounds kindly for them. Away from Barnes' clutches and into the clutches of goalkeeper Ben Foster. 40 seconds of stoppage time left to go, and I think Mr. Tierney will probably put the lid on the end of this game for absolutely sure. But plenty of talking points. So Will Hughes have been sent off for a horrible tackle on Stephen Ward at the end of the first half. But then again, should Matt Lowton have been sent off for a complete and utter clear stamp on the hand of Isaac's Success? And it did look conclusive from the replays of absent. I can't, and he might be a Burnley player, but you just can't defend anything like that. You can't condone anything like that, I'm afraid. 4 seconds of stoppage time left. Burnley have a free kick to defend, and poor Tierney has let the free kick be taken, and there goes the full-time whistle. Watford get the 3 points, and they were far better, far superior in the second half to what Burnley were. I have to tell you, Burnley showed no heart, no fight, no desire, no cohesion, no wanting to put sweat on the shirt. Andre Gray has a nice little handshake there for Sean Dyche. It was his goal that put Watford in front after 3 minutes. Tarkowski equalised on 6. Will Hughes should have been sent off, possibly for a horrible challenge just before half-time. Then Deeney in 3 minutes into the second half, making it 2-1. Hughes from a poor Lowton clearance pass, punishing Burnley with the third one with a 20-yard cracker. But then Matt Lowton stamped, should maybe have been sent off for a clear stamp on Isaac's Success, and I don't think we'll see the last of that. I'm sure the Football Association will probably take retrospective action against Lowton, and if they do, that's bad news for Burnley. But it's not been a great day for Burnley, and I've got to say it. They have not tried in this second half. Give credit to Watford. Worthy winners in the end by 3-1, and that is the situation here at Turf Moor as Burnley's first day in the Premier League season at Turf Moor ends in a humiliating defeat. Well, what a disappointing performance from Burnley, and we haven't heard anything from the Football Association yet about what action they may well take against Matt Lawton, because I mean, I've seen the replay about 16, 17 times since the commentary yesterday, and I've got to say, it gets horrible every time you look at it. There's just no defending him. I'm a Burnley fan, and I'm a passionate Clarets, as everyone knows, but there's just no defending that. But could Will Hughes have been sent off before half-time? It's coulda, woulda, shoulda. But Burnley in the second half, I've got to tell you, and it hurts me to say this, but they showed no heart, no passion, no desire, nothing. Not what the great Jimmy McAvoy would have demanded of them, and that I found very, very hard to fathom and understand. Anyway, let's get some reaction from the Burnley viewpoint. James Tarkowski and Sean Dyche are the men that you're going to hear from now. And let's hear from, first of all, you'll hear from Sean Dyche in a moment, but here's what James Tarkowski as well had to say after the game.
Going for the club's argument, I'm sure you would have rather it come in winning circumstances.
Yeah, obviously it's nice to get a goal, but I think obviously the day was disappointing. Didn't start off well first half, give them a sloppy goal, and then we really reacted well to that. I thought for most of the first half we dominated, and to go in only at 1-1 is a bit disappointing again after last week as well, where we dominated the first half and didn't go in the lead, and then we started really sloppy again second half. And we've only got ourselves to blame. You can say the goal's a nice strike for the third one, a good bit of play for second, but we pride ourselves on defending really well, and I don't think we did today.
Yeah, is it not like yourself, as you say, normally don't give anybody a sniff? It's going to happen every now and again, I suppose, but I'm sure you'll be trying to make sure it's a one-off.
Yeah, of course, yeah. As I say, we pride ourselves on defending well, and it was a tough day for us. But it was a good week until now. But the good thing is plenty of games to react to. Always a chance to turn it around, so we'll look forward to Thursday and go and get a positive result in Greece.
On the plus side, very good first half performance football-wise. Again, similar to Southampton, really top quality football.
Yeah, we're playing some good stuff, and we are making chances. I think we just got to start to take a few more, because you say in this league everyone's going to have a strong period. I thought Watford punished us today when we give them the chances, which is fair play to them. But I say we've got to look at ourselves more than them. We've got to defend better, and then when we get our chances, we have got to finish them off.
I think had you got your noses in front, probably would have gone on and win it, but as you say, it's about doing it right at both ends, isn't it?
Well, yeah, if we take a lead, as I say, we're renowned for being good defenders, as a team, that is. So if we go in the lead, it's a different game, but we didn't. So we've only got ourselves to blame.
Just briefly, wind the clock back 12 months, lost a term to West Brom and reacted superbly, hoping to do something similar.
Well, yeah, it's only the season, which is nice. Still plenty of time to get points on the board. As I say, plenty of games coming up, so a good opportunity for the lads to get out there and react straight away on Thursday, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, switch your focus to that, as you say, something to really look forward to. Might be changing the squad, but you'll all go out there, and I'm sure you're all looking forward to giving it a good go out there in Greece.
Yeah, another good experience for us, another tough test against what will be a good side, but so far we've really enjoyed ourselves in Europe, so it's something we're looking to continue.
Well, James Tarkowski there summing up, probably in the mood of the camp there, that it was a poor goal for Burnley to concede. There's no doubt about that, and it just wasn't good enough over the course of the match. It just wasn't good enough. So let's hear now from Burnley's manager Sean Dyche talking with Darren Bentley after the match.
And usually for us, we kind of gave the game away, really. I thought first half they score early, and that gave us a warning shot because we literally responded, and I was very pleased with the response and the energy to the performance and the quality, actually, first half. We got in some great positions. We've got to have more fire to go and score a goal because we're going to some absolutely top-class positions with some very good play. And dominated large parts of the first half. So I went in pretty pleased, actually, not with the first goal, but pretty pleased with the performance. I don't think they'd had many efforts on goal. We'd had several. I've been in certainly several very, very good positions to be in threatening positions. So therefore you come up at half time and you think, okay, I'll accept that. We changed a couple of things, had a word with the lads. The biggest warning I gave them was, you've got to start right, lads, and we didn't. It's simple as that. The first 5 minutes we didn't really start awfully, but the intention, the feel of it, that we didn't start with that real drive and that edge. We're sort of waiting for the game to come to us. We can't do that. We've got to go and get the game. That's a big marker for us. We go and attempt to take the game on, not wait for it to come our way. So they score the first, and then the second is obviously a poor pass, and the lad, to be fair, it's a great strike from distance, and unfortunately for us, it's a lad in Hughes that shouldn't be on the pitch, in my opinion, because it was a shocking tackle right in front of me on Wardy.
Yeah, that was one just off the pitch. The referee booked him for that, but you felt it was worse than that.
Well, he's not in control, first of all, and we're told that's a big thing that refs have to look for. He's not in control of the challenge. He's virtually him off the pitch, by the way, as well, so I don't know why he was making the challenge. Our players, historically, we attempt to not roll around, looking for sympathy, which Wardy attempts not to do, so there's not that thing that probably makes it worse. We attempt not to run and go crazy as a group. Sometimes you wonder, because I think the ref might have realised how bad a challenge there was if there was that kind of reaction.
You mentioned about flashing a few shots across the goal in the first half, and that fire to score a goal. You were so close on so many occasions.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to encapsulate. I don't mean, of course, people want to score a goal, but it's that driving in the box, that intention, that nothing's going to get in the way, and that willingness and that demand from individuals to get their moments early, to sprint early, to arrive early, to read the play better. It's still early season, them things probably come a little bit, but you've got to affect it very quickly, and we didn't quite do that for them chances, because there's some really good play. I thought Jeff Ender was very good again in spells today, and broke their line several times, and so that was frustrating to only be 1-1 at half time, but the main frustration is the first 5 minutes, because once you're 3-1 down at this level, it's difficult. We're probing, we're trying to play, but they've put an extra midfielder on, they've kind of camped in a little bit more, the fullback stayed at home. It's difficult, to break that down, and we never really built that momentum that we sometimes do after that. So yeah, two sort of spells where we more or less gave the game away today, so that's what I'm frustrated at.
You've done a couple of interviews already, and you'll do a few more, and already the Europa League, Premier League combinations being mentioned, but I saw a side out there in the first half at Southampton and today, they looked full of vigour and full of energy, and there was a different side, of course.
No, that's right. I mean, there was a lot. The score often leaves a bad taste. Well, always leaves a bad taste in the mouth if it don't go your way. But sometimes you've got to look beyond that. And the performance, particularly the first half performance, was a very good one. So I've not lost sight of that, but I have to balance that off with a poor first 5 minutes of the second half, and then ask questions why that is, because I had warned the players, and to expect them to come out the blocks a little bit, and we had to react and do that. And like I said, the margins are tight, so it's not drastic, but you just go under on them little details. We just got our shape wrong for the first goal, and the second goal is a poor pass when we just looked a bit cloudy at that moment. So it doesn't mar a whole performance, but obviously it's a very, very key 5 minutes in the performance and the outcome.
Well, he says 5 minutes, but the whole point of the second half, Burnley just had no cohesion, no desire, no real effort really put in since that third goal went in. But a real bad day at the office, and we'll just have to see if Matt Lawton gets a punishment thrown at him. I wouldn't be surprised, and I do agree with Dyche on the Will Hughes tackle. It was clearly out of control, but a real defeat there, and obviously we're going to end the programme as we started it. Just to remind you that we're on live from Selhurst Park later tonight. Join me from 7:40. Russ Vernon will be the commentator, and we're going to start at 7:40 because it's an 8 o'clock kick-off, but we want to start a little bit earlier and dedicate the first 10 minutes of that programme as a better and bigger tribute to the loss of Jimmy McIlroy, who has sadly passed away today, aged 86. So, disappointing day yesterday, a very sad day today with the loss of a true Burnley legend. We're going to end the programme with a little tribute to the man they called the the brain of Burnley.
People talk loosely about club loyalty. What does that mean to you?
Club loyalty to me isn't being loyal to the bricks and the mortar and the grass around here. It's being loyal to the people who run this club.
A talented ball player whose football shows all the imagination of the Irish.
Jimmy McIlroy was the best player I have known in world football before.
Jimmy McIlroy, MBE. How does that sound?
Absolutely over the moon.
Jimmy McIlroy.
All who saw Jimmy McIlroy were mesmerised by his talent.
The ball goes to 22-year-old Jimmy McIlroy, Burnley's Irish international. He takes a tumble as he shoots, but it's a goal.
We show our loyalty by giving 100% effort on the field. But this is only for the effort that's given to us or shown towards us off the field.
Jimmy McIlroy, MBE, died today, age 86. Goodbye.